What's up, deep thinkers? It's Robert from Existence First, and I'm here with a video about a technique that you can use to kind of boost motivation. Okay, and this is motivation in the sense of self-empowerment and sort of changing the self. Okay, it's very difficult to change the self. I had people show up to spiritual self-defense this weekend, and it was we were talking about some very, very challenging issues. Okay, but in this whole field of I guess you would say life coaching or self-development or self-help, right? A lot of times when we want to improve our lives, we have to change something internal. Okay, so here's the technique that I used this week that I was pretty happy with the results. So I want you to try it. You can comment below how it worked out for you. I'd be curious, positives or negatives, either way. Okay, but the technique is this: you look in the mirror and you think about if there were such a thing as a forever image of yourself, a forever image that this image would be, this is actually kind of like a twist on Friedrich Nietzsche's eternal recurrence, right? Which I have another video on that as well. It's a very, very powerful thought experiment. But this concept of, if you ask yourself, okay, if I were to live forever, what trait would I want to have? Or if you were to kind of imagine that there's this forever version of you that kind of goes into eternity, right? Like, how would you want that person to be like? Like, what would you like that version to be like? So think about your forever image of your own self, right? You might think of your forever image as, a very, very confident person, or very, I don't know, very friendly, or a very like loving person that does a lot of good for others and for the community. It's going to depend on your own individual values. But if you tap into that, it might currently be in disagreement with like how you actually are acting, right? But that's not the point. The point is it's going to trigger something internally to kind of to help you emulate those traits that you want to have. And not only this, there's also the deeper meaning of escaping or kind of beating mortality. Okay, I mean, the huge problem in existentialism will tell you that the huge problem of human existence is that it's finite, and it will come to an end. And so now we need to deal with this absurd fact, and just we have to dare to make a decision and create our lives in the midst of utter meaninglessness, right, in the universe. And for me, at least in my philosophy, one big piece is trying to beat this whole thing about mortality, right? And this one day my life will end. Well, how do I beat that? The way I beat that is I live as a forever image. I live as a forever image that what I do, how I act, it sends a message that's almost outside of time, right? It's like timeless. Okay, so try this out, and then again, comment below what results you get, because in the end, we ought to be pragmatists and examine the consequences of whichever actions we choose to take. Okay, think deeply and put your existence first.